Attention passionate Green Bay Packers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Green Bay Packers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Green Bay Packers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Green Bay Packers fans. Let's get to the news. Now, folks, if you've been paying attention to what's happening around the Green Bay Packers lately, you know that the team is in a bit of a tricky spot, especially when it comes to their defensive line. It's not just about the talent on the field but also about how the coaching staff is trying to adapt to the injuries and the challenges that have cropped up early in the season. And let me tell you, this story is shaping up to be one of those behind-the-scenes battles that could define how the Packers' season unfolds from here on out. So let's break down what's been happening, what the team is doing to address it, and what this could mean for their matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend and beyond. First off, the injury to Devonte Wyatt has become a significant concern for the Packers' defense. Wyatt, who was expected to be an anchor along that interior defensive line, suffered a knee injury early in Week 4 during that intense game against the Dallas Cowboys. It was a play that, frankly, had everyone holding their breath. Wyatt was chasing after Miles Sanders, trying to make a play at the end of a run, and landing awkwardly on his knee. Though he walked off under his own power, the damage was done. The team initially classified his injury as week to week, which sounds somewhat reassuring, but as we all know, these things can be tricky. And with the Packers heading into a crucial stretch of the season, that injury raises some questions about their defensive stability, especially against power-running teams like the Bengals. Now, the injury was significant enough that Wyatt didn't return for the rest of that game, and in the subsequent days, the team's medical staff kept a close eye on his progress. The fact that Wyatt didn't practice at all at the start of the week of preparation for Sunday's game signals that his recovery might not be as quick as some hoped. Head coach Matt LaFleur described his condition as week to week, but that's a vague phrase that can sometimes be a euphemism for uncertainty. And given that Wyatt was a first-round pick in 2022, expectations are sky-high for him to develop into a dominant force on that line. Missing him, even temporarily, could weaken their run defense and pressure the secondary, which has been a mixed bag so far this season. But it's not just Wyatt that the Packers are keeping an eye on. The team has been actively exploring options to bolster their interior defensive line, which is where these recent roster workouts come into play. The Packers hosted 5 players on Monday: defensive tackles Tommy Akingbisode, Anthony Campbell, Keondre Coburn, Fabian Lovett, and Omari Thomas, for workouts, with the goal of potentially adding depth or even a rotational piece for the upcoming games. Among these, Keondre Coburn stands out because he's the only one with actual NFL snaps in the regular season. Coburn, a 6th-round pick in 2023 by Kansas City, has played 6 games with the Chiefs and 19 games with the Tennessee Titans, where he even had a start. His experience, especially on the defensive interior, could be valuable as the Packers look to plug gaps caused by injuries. Interestingly, Coburn has logged more defensive snaps, about 233, than special teams snaps, which shows that he's primarily used in those interior roles, exactly what the Packers need right now. On the other hand, Akingbisode, a 7th-round rookie, has some preseason experience with the Dallas Cowboys, where he managed to record 4 tackles, 1 for a loss, across 3 games. Though he didn't make the final roster cut in Dallas, his potential and youth make him a candidate for the practice squad, or possibly more, depending on how the Packers see fit. The other players, Anthony Campbell, Fabian Lovett, and Omari Thomas, are all intriguing options, but at this stage, it's likely that any signing would be aimed at adding practice squad depth rather than immediate starters. Pause here, just for a second. If you want, the YouTube algorithm, to keep recommending, the latest Green Bay Packers news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. Now, what does all this mean for the Packers moving forward? Well, it's clear that the coaching staff is actively trying to address these injury concerns, and they're not just sitting back hoping that Wyatt's knee heals quickly without any setbacks. The decision to host these workouts shows that they're exploring all options to ensure their defensive line doesn't become a weakness that opponents can exploit. The Bengals, coming into this week's game, will certainly look to attack that interior if Wyatt isn't available, especially with Joe Burrow's passing game and the run game led by Joe Mixon. Any disruption along that line could be a key factor in determining whether the Packers can keep their winning streak alive or if they'll be challenged more than they'd like. And speaking of the matchup, the Packers are actually approaching this game with some positive news on the injury front. Both Zach Tom, their right tackle, and Aaron Banks, the left guard, returned to practice after missing the Cowboys game due to injuries, Tom with an oblique injury and Banks with a groin issue. Their return is a big boost for that offensive line, which has been a bit banged up but still managed to produce some solid plays. It's encouraging to see them back on the field, giving quarterback Jordan Love the protection he needs to execute this offense effectively. The offensive line's health will be crucial because the Bengals' pass rush can be aggressive, and if the line holds up, Love can find some of his receivers, like Christian Watson, who's been working his way back from that ACL tear last January. Now, Christian Watson's situation is another interesting subplot. The team has opened a 21-day practice window for him to return to the active roster. He's been out since the start of the season, recovering from that ACL injury, and the Packers are eager to reintegrate him into their offense. The same goes for Jacob Monk, the interior lineman who's been on injured reserve but now has a chance to return. These are important pieces for the Packers' offensive continuity, especially as they aim to keep pace in a competitive NFC North and make a real push for the playoffs. What's also worth noting is that Wyatt and rookie right tackle Anthony Belton, who's dealing with an ankle injury, are the only players on the 53-man roster who didn't participate in Monday's practice. This means that, aside from Wyatt's uncertain status, the team is relatively healthier than they were a few weeks ago. The bye week clearly helped, allowing some key players to recover and get back on the field. And that's a critical factor because, as we all know, the NFL season is a grind, and depth becomes a huge factor in sustaining success over the long haul. Looking ahead, the Packers are going to need to be strategic. Their game plan against Cincinnati will likely depend a lot on Wyatt's status and how well their defensive line can hold up without him. If Wyatt is out or limited, expect the Bengals to take advantage of that interior, trying to establish their run game early and testing the Packers' run defense. On the flip side, if Wyatt is healthy and can play, it could make a significant difference, allowing the Packers to apply more pressure on Burrow and disrupt Cincinnati's timing. The coaching staff, led by Matt LaFleur, has shown resilience and adaptability this season. They've dealt with injuries, roster shuffles, and still managed to keep the team competitive. That's a testament to the culture they've built and the talent they have on the roster. Jordan Love, despite some inconsistencies, has shown flashes of being a capable quarterback, and the supporting cast is starting to gel more each week. Christian Watson's return could give that offense a much-needed boost, especially in the deep passing game, which has been somewhat inconsistent so far. And let's not forget, the NFC North is wide open this season. The Packers, sitting at 2-1-1, are right in the mix, aiming to establish themselves as serious contenders. Every game counts from here on out, and the health of key players like Wyatt, Watson, and Banks will be pivotal. If they can get everyone back and healthy, and if their defensive line can hold firm against the Bengals' offense, the Packers could very well keep climbing the standings and make a deep playoff run. In the bigger picture, this situation underscores how crucial roster depth and injury management are in the NFL. A single injury to a key player can ripple through the entire team, but smart management, timely signings, and the development of younger players can keep that ship afloat. The Packers are in a bit of a transitional phase, trying to find consistency and stability, but their front office and coaching staff seem committed to handling these challenges head-on. The next few weeks will be critical in seeing how well they can adapt and whether their depth can step up when needed. So, to all the Packers fans out there, stay tuned, because every update on Wyatt's recovery, the return of Watson, and the roster moves could be the difference between a good season and a great one. The NFC North is fierce, but the Packers have the talent and the resilience to make some noise if they can stay healthy and focused. The game against Cincinnati is just around the corner, and it promises to be a defining moment for this team. Keep your eyes peeled for more updates, because this story is far from over, and the Green Bay Packers are always ready to fight for every inch. And now, Green Bay Packers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Green Bay Packers. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Green Bay Packers news.